What's up, guys? Welcome back to Natalie's Reptile Room. Today,
You sound out of breath.
today, this is your host, Natalie, co-host, Kevin.
And who's our special guest here?
Special guest,
Jeez, what were you doing?
Running,
Running. Special guest Casper.
Casper.
And
Special
who's
guest,
this one?
Hamsty.
Our special guest Hamster. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to another awesome episode of Natalie's Reptile Room. And thank you for joining us today, as today we are back into our coolest prehistoric and extinct reptile series.
Yep.
I love learning about these prehistoric reptiles, don't you?
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Today, guys, we are talking about the Wonambi. The Wonambi,
Yep.
who was a impressively large snake.
Yep.
We made a short video on YouTube of our drawing and asked if anybody could guess what our next prehistoric reptile was.
Yep. And it was the
Wonambi, which a friend of ours on TikTok, IDK12965, got right. He guessed the Wonambi. But as you can see, it's a beautiful snake.
Yeah.
Beautiful snake.
Yeah.
I think that picture belongs in a museum.
Mhm.
And Natalie actually helped me for that one.
Yeah. And I called that in. It's a rainbow snake.
As always, we are going to go over some cool facts, the appearance of the Wonambi, the habitat that it was in when it was around, and the diet of the Wonambi.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
Good.
Alright, let's get into it. But Wonambi was actually named after the serpent of the dream time.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound kind of scary?
Yeah.
That does kind of scary.
Yeah. And that's weird.
That's a weird name.
Yeah.
Weird name to name a snake after. So the Wonambi was a large snake that inhabited the earth some 20 million years ago.
Yep.
And they were around as recently as 40,000 years ago. So that's not that long ago. 40,000 years ago? In the grand scheme of things, it's not that long ago.
20 years.
Well, 20 million years is a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I was even around then.
Yeah, me either, I think.
But we'll get a little more into the 40,000 years ago here in a bit.
Yeah.
Despite being a non-venomous constrictor, it wasn't even in the same family as like boas, pythons, or the large snakes of today. Like
Is there any more large snakes?
Oh yeah, there's some large snakes. And this one was large, but it was a non-venomous constrictor, which most people, they would think either a boa or a python, but it was neither. It actually comes from the Matsuridae family. Weird name, right?
Yeah, we are.
Which that family only consisted of 23 known species of snake, which are all extinct today. Some of which we have plans on doing on our prehistoric channel later.
Is there any more ones that we're doing is around today?
That are around today?
Yeah.
No, because then they wouldn't be prehistoric or extinct. First fossils ever discovered, and I'm probably going to mispronounce this, were in Narakorte, South Australia. But the actual fossils of the Wonambi were found in Australia. And they got all the coolest snakes, don't they?
Yeah.
Australia's got some of the coolest snakes in the world.
And do you know what else they got?
What?
Savannah monitors, probably.
No, they're from Africa, but they do have Ackie monitors. Ackie monitors come from Australia.
Where do?
And you know what else comes from Australia?
What?
One of my favorite monitor lizard species, the lace monitor. They're beautiful. As we will go over in appearance, the Wonambi was far from being one of the biggest snakes out there. So what makes them so interesting that we would do a video on them?
Well, because they're the biggest and largest snake.
No, they were far from the biggest and largest snake. But I'm glad you asked. This is considered the Wonambi is considered a primitive snake, a step in time of learning how snakes lost their legs and how they evolved. Get it? A step in time with no legs.
Yeah. God, do you know that snakes actually have legs?
They used to.
Yeah, but let me see him. See those spurs right there? That's where they used to have their legs.
You are exactly right. Exactly right. So it's a good thing we did have Casper for this video.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, the Wonambi does show us how snakes have evolved over time, from the way their head and jaws were, and not being evolved to the point of the snakes of today.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. But they had a smaller head compared to a lot of snakes their size that wasn't flexible. They also weren't able to, they call it gaping, where a mouth will like stretch its mouth out to eat its prey.
Would they be like?
Yeah, you see them, how their mouth can like gape open, but they couldn't do that. The Wonambi couldn't do that. What's a fun fact?
They actually don't have jaws connected.
Kinda. So what we were gonna say is that a lot of people think that snakes just dislocate their jaw to swallow their prey. This isn't true actually, but they actually don't have anything to dislocate. Their jaws aren't connected to a chin bone. Bet you didn't know that.
I didn't.
Didn't? Their lower jaw bones stay unfused, but the only thing they're stretching is like ligaments, tissue, the skin of their mouth. It's not dislocating anything.
Oh.
It's more like stretching a balloon over something.
Yeah.
So if you like stretch the end of the balloon over something, it's kind of like that.
Yeah, but it's not like they are connecting their own jaw to their bottom.
Right, exactly. All right, and now let's get into the fun part. Their appearance. As we mentioned, the Wonambi was far from the biggest snake out there. They actually weren't even as big as like reticulated pythons or green anacondas, the big snakes of today, but still pretty darn big.
Yeah. Pretty big.
Pretty big.
It's definitely not big as this.
It would definitely eat your hamster. The Wonambi only got to about 16 to 20 feet, which that's still like I said, that's still a pretty big snake.
Pretty darn big.
Pretty darn big. That's about as big as from like, you know, our fence outside, from one side of the fence to the other. That's still big. That's a big...
Bigger than a TV?
Oh, way bigger than that TV. With a small head.
Way bigger than this guy?
Oh yeah, like I said, they'd eat your guinea pig, no problem. Which fossils show they had very large hook-like teeth, kind of like pythons of today, where when they bit into their prey, they would hook it in. Those backward-facing hooks also helped guide the prey down their throat.
So they trapped him in, they were like...
Oh yeah, when they got those hooks in, it was hooked.
And they never got out, and then he just been like...
Not until they became poop. That sounds like a scary way to go, don't it?
Yeah.
Very scary. But with no living members of that family to go off of and only fossils to judge them from, scientists are pretty unsure of like what color they would have been or what patterns and everything like that they would have had.
Yeah.
Especially coming from a place like Australia, where the snakes, as far as colors, patterns, everything like that, are in all kinds of different varieties. But what do you think the Wonambi's colors and patterns would have looked like? You think he would have looked like this?
Yes.
Like a big old rainbow snake?
Yeah.
He could have.
Just like a rainbow boa.
Just like a rainbow boa.
But he's probably not gonna look like a rainbow boa.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
What
Yes.
color do you think he was? That color? Rainbow.
Well, probably not rainbow. He probably had like blue, not blue. We never saw a blue snake.
Blue racer.
Oh yeah, but he might had a little bit of blue and some red. Not red. Not blue. evil. He probably had some brown, some black, a little bit of white, just like him.
Just like him?
Yep.
They could have.
And he probably had a little bit of iridescence.
You think they had some iridescence?
Mm-hmm.
They definitely could have. All right, and let's get into
Habitat.
As we had mentioned, their fossils were discovered in South Australia. And do you remember our fun fact about snakes in Australia? Remember what's special about Australia and venomous snakes? Australia is one of the only places in the world that they actually have more venomous species of snakes than they do non-venomous. That's kind of scary. So the likelihood you
We're never
pick up...
going there at all.
We will one day.
No, we aren't.
But here in the US, the likelihood that you pick up a venomous snake is very low. In Australia, odds are it's venomous. Now, although the fossils were found in Australia, they also lived in like Madagascar, Europe, South America, and Africa. So they were around. They slowly died off from all those other countries until they were only found in Australia, usually by water, like rivers, lakes, all that.
Yeah, but guys, they might bust this, but they live by water like he said.
Well, kind of like the big snakes of today, like the green anaconda,
Big.
around water. I think one of the coolest things about the Wonambi is they actually could have shared time on this planet with humans. As we mentioned, they didn't go extinct until just about 40,000 years ago.
40,000?
40,000.
A lot.
Now, this is just speculation, but they have also thought that humans may have led to their extinction. They're like hunting, brush fires, everything like that. But natural changes in environment, climate, could also have easily have done it.
Yeah.
Done them in.
Mhm.
Regardless, if humans did see them, I'm sure they were a sight to see by humans.
Yeah.
That would have been wild.
Mhm.
All right, and finally on to...
Diet.
You shut that right off. What did this giant snake eat? Due to the size of their head and the inflexibility of their head, they believe they would have actually eaten much smaller prey than a snake that size. Because their head was smaller and they couldn't gape their mouth open to eat bigger prey.
So the dinosaur tried to attack, open his mouth, but it wasn't wide enough to eat him.
Probably not a dinosaur.
It was probably a little baby dinosaur.
The most likely prey items would have been like
Kangaroos and
wallabies.
wallabies.
Which that stinks too, because I like both of those animals too.
Mhm.
Especially kangaroos.
Yeah, because they hop like a bunny.
They keep their baby in the little pouch.
Yeah, and then when the baby wants to come out, he hops out.
They're the cutest. They would have been ambush predators, waiting by like the water's edge, by like watering holes or something like that, waiting for a unsuspecting animal to come take a drink.
Yeah.
Could you imagine coming down to get a drink and a snake that big just wallops you with a bite, trying to get some water? That would stink.
Yeah, then I'll be like, fine.
And like we said at the beginning of the video, they were a non-venomous constrictor. So squeezing the life out of their prey. Like boas and pythons.
Yeah, they'll be like,
Being a larger snake like that and only being able to eat smaller prey, it's thought that they would have probably had to eat more frequently. Because one of the advantages of snakes being able to eat big prey like that is that one big meal can last them months. So when you're only eating smaller prey, you probably have to eat more frequently. Kind of like you.
yeah.
Alright guys, so that does it on our video on the Wonambi.
Yep.
If you guys enjoyed this or found it informative, make sure to give Natalie and I a like. Consider subscribing for more of our coolest prehistoric reptiles.
Comment down below if you want to see more storm videos.
Storm videos? We got a storm headed our way, so we finished just in time. But if you would, consider subscribing for more of our content. We post every Wednesday and Sunday and sometimes snake adventures, right? Alright guys, but thank you very much for watching and we'll see you Saturday.
Saturday. Bye.
Bye guys.